Full of the climb that lies ahead. We're nearly there, Sean. There's a couple of roundabouts to go before we get there, but they'll be filled with adrenaline and excitement at the moment, and the prospect of what still lies ahead. A testy climb is the answer.
Yes, well, if they have any of that left after the effort they have put in here, because they have, really having to ride full on in the last 30 kilometres, 40 kilometres maybe, because of the peloton getting so close, and now they're into this final. It depends on who has got the more energy left here out of the breakaway. We've seen Magnus Cort Nielsen, he can do this sort of uphill finish, but out of a breakaway sometimes it can be a different scenario, a different situation. He might come up against somebody who can push it up against him, but 36 seconds at the moment. Ineos starting to wind it up here. Yeah, this is going to be a tight one. It's going to be really tight if they can hold on out front.
I think Bernal fancies this, if not just to find some seconds. Let's see, where's the young rider's jersey with the green accents here, zigzagging around the debris on the road. 2.8 kilometres to go, so essentially this is your flamme rouge to the bottom of the climb. 31 seconds is what the breakaway's got. How clever have they played this, or are they just plain and simply running out of energy? We saw the imbalance really in the pace of the break compared to the peloton that's chasing on at the moment, and Ineos Grenadiers doing a good job. Now, have Movistar spent all of their resources during the day? It kind of looks that way. I think they may have burnt all their bridges and they're not going to get over to these guys. Let us wait and see. Into town they come, waiting for this little transition. It comes not quite just yet. It's about now. Let's start climbing. It's a different route, a unique one that we have to take on. Sean, we're climbing. This is where the day will be decided. They've only got 23 seconds and falling.
Yes, well, it will be decided by the peloton now, because 23, 22 seconds at the moment. We can see Ineos are the ones who are pushing on, but also in the breakaway they're starting to push here because they have to. They know this advantage is a very slim one, and if Ineos keep on driving when they get onto the climb, because some teams they ride onto the climb and then they knock back the pace a bit, and that will be the decider if the break or some of the guys here in the break we can hold on.
Oh, they are digging in big time, as you can see. This is fantastic. It's a lead-out train essentially for Ineos. Absolutely magnificent to see how hard that they are working. Navarez is really going for it. Carapaz, his fellow countryman, on his back wheel for the time being, or indeed not. And it looks like they're trying to tee this up for Bernal. Now, who's in their wake and who's going to get the wake-up call? 19 seconds to those out front of the breakaway. It's Jean Beau of Euskaltel who's sped on. Clearly, Bernal believes he's got what it takes today. He's not that far away from Roglic, you can see as well. Just tagged off ever so slightly. And Adam Yates, here comes Roglic right now, just comfortably on the wheel of what looks like Valverde from that view. Let's have a look. Where is Beau? He's the defined climber of this group. I can't tell whether he's gone backwards or forwards, and it looks like backwards is the answer, I'm afraid, for the man in orange from Euskaltel. Will we see him collected by these guys right now? And we've got some big separation. It looks like Movistar have missed out, and that looks like Beau going backwards from the break. That's how close they are, Sean. It's only 7 seconds, and it looks like heartbreak for the break.
Yes, it does look, and it's melting down so quickly here, and not surprising the pace that the Ineos riders are putting on here. We could see Navarez set such a pace that Carapaz wasn't able to follow. He had to knock it off a bit, but we can see they're just in sight now, and still 1.4 to go. And as I said earlier, when you're out here in the breakaway, if you have that 25, 30 seconds at the bottom of the climb, it just comes down so quickly, and the pace being set by the main peloton of GC contenders, not surprising.
Ellison struggling. It looks like it's Roglic that's just reached out and headed into that corner at full tilt. Let's wait and see when the cameras re-catch up with him. At the moment, if Bernal had a plan, I'm not quite sure whether it's going to come to fruition. 1,200 metres to go, and here we are. Riders all over the mound at the moment. I'm wondering if that's Matthews. I don't think so at this juncture. Let's wait and see. Camera panning up, just trying to find riders for the time being, and here we are. I believe that is Roglic at the moment with Bernal on his back wheel. Can't quite see who's with him. It may well be Mas. There is Leon Sanchez just trying to get back in as well. And Roglic looks like he may well have his fun, unless he can be denied by two remnants from the breakaway. Magnus Cort still here. So is Lindemann, who's staying on his back wheel. Everybody else, I'm afraid, has gone backwards. And here comes Movistar wanting to bully it and getting involved as well. Vlasov for Astana by the looks of things. This is spectacular, Sean. Flamme Bruges.
Yes, we can see Mass is the one who pushes on there. Valverde was very much up there also. A little bit of a slowdown there, and yeah, for the two riders just still hanging out in front as we go into the final kilometre. Don't think it's going to be enough, because there's somebody here going to come out of this leading group of big contenders with such power. They will just swallow them up in the final run to the line.
Gosh, well, that will be cruel. They've dealt with the most difficult part of the climb, by the way, that little ramp I was telling you about of 12%. They've got to run in. Now they've taken the finish line just a little bit further away from that final turn. And here we are, Lopez still making a good fist of it, but it's Magnus Cort that's grinding on. He's going to be last man standing here. Bert-Jan Lindemann trying to stay with him, but it's not going to happen. I don't think. 750 metres. How cruel is this game, Sean?
Yes, well, we can see Matthews here trying to push on. Lopez was the one I thought was Enric Mas, but again, Movistar, looking very strong here. Matthews wants to keep this pace going because he's concerned that Magnus Cort out front is just holding on, but keep the pace. Now he's in the wheel of the two men in front of him, the Movistar man and Vlasov, and he's in a real good position here for the moment.
Let us wait and see. Miguel Angel Lopez well placed for the time being. Can Magnus Cort get caught? 500 and just over metres remaining until the very end. I'd love him to bring this home, but it looks like a tall order. And Matthews, I can't quite see. A blurred screen, I'm afraid. Is just pushing on. You've probably got a better view of it than I have at the moment. But Vlasov is on his case. Vlasov with Matthews there. Thankfully things have stabilised picture-wise, but right now this is a bid for the line. Fantastic effort by Matthews, but is he peddling squares at the moment? And look at Roglic just hovering here, waiting, and is he going to come through? And Roglic finally decides that he's going to go. Roglic wants to have his fun here today, and Magnus Cort may be the man who pays dearly for this. Oh, here we go, 150 metres to go. It's a sprint for the line. This is absolutely fantastic. It's Magnus Cort at the moment with Roglic pushing on in. That gap is closing ever so rapidly right now, but Magnus Cort is going to get there, is he? Here comes the finish line. It's a sprint for it. I hope he gets there. This will be magnificent, and he does. Oh, what about that? The breakaway made it, and the strongest man in it was Magnus Cort Nielsen. I absolutely loved that. Sean, that was so impressive. What a hang-on.
Yes, well, what a ride by Magnus Cort. And he was the rider. We could see him. He was really contributing big time to the breakaway, the one with the most energy left, and what a tight final, and just getting it by 2-3 bike lengths.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Roglic, Matthews played their part, of course. Miguel Angel Lopez, Lindemann as well, but Magnus Cort makes it home, but only just. Well, they designed a course for us, Sean, to provide entertainment, and that is precisely what we got today. Very different from yesterday, and tomorrow the high ground with yet more, I am certain. Absolutely magnificent. What a push. Baggioli making a good fist of that as well. We haven't seen it just yet, but you will. My goodness. De Koenig have options way beyond just Jakobsen, who struggled a little bit today. Baggioli so strong once again. Primož Roglic very close, but Magnus Cort Nielsen held on, Sean. Wonderful.
Yes, wonderful, and what a day's racing. And it was part of the parcours, but also the riders, the teams that they made the race, because when the breakaway of 5 went away, it looked like it was going to be one of these days where the breakaway would get that big advantage, and they would go on to contest this the final run to the line here for the stage victory under no pressure. But what pressure the breakaway had after Bike Exchange took it up and really opened up the race, and what a race we had there in that final 100 kilometres.
Magnus Cort took it ahead of Roglic, Baggioli, Vlasov finishing in 4th place with Enric Mas, but my goodness, Magnus Cort, he had to work for every single millimetre, and every sinew was involved. Fabulous. Great push by Primož Roglic as well, but I'm so pleased for EF Education, who had a rough old day today, don't forget. Hugh Carthy struggling to stay involved. one man up front. Hugh Carthy could probably have done with Magnus Cort, but they got the stage win, and Hugh Carthy damage limitation, Sean. I think they'll take that.
Yes, well, it's certainly a big day for Magnus Cort and EF to get the stage victory, but unfortunately we did see Hugh Carthy in difficulty, so I haven't seen him when he came over the line there, but definitely looked to be in difficulty. But a lot of riders we could see, there was gaps everywhere between the top 20-30 riders. You see him coming around the corner here. Matthews, he did a real strong ride. He had to push on, make the pace setting on the final climb, and he paid for that in the very final run to the line.
That was as good a day's racing than you're likely to find. Well, let's hope we discover a few more pearls as we get deeper into this race. Of course, tomorrow we go climbing. We have 2 category 1s to deal with and 4 other climbs as well. Peaky, oh yeah. This race is absolutely full of surprises, and I guess today, when you looked at the parcours, Sean, some will be surprised at how many gaps have opened up, but the weather played a part as well as the geography.
Yes, I think the weather played a part, but also the racing, because it was a super fast stage, very, very difficult, nervous all the time, and this final 30-40 kilometres were hectic, and the riders, they did pay for it in the end. Where if it was a normal breakaway and then the peloton arrives with all the big favourites, we wouldn't have a bigger battle. But here the stage was up for the grabs, so the big contenders, the peloton were really pushing on, and it caused a lot of problems for some GC men.
Magnus Cort Nielsen takes the day. The jersey goes onto the back of Primož Roglič, so he's got media duties yet again. Baggioli rounding out the day's podium, but what a battle we have had. The wide open plains, not many mountains to play with, but we found one, and what a game it was. Well, some will have lost after going all in at the wrong time. The weather played a part, and it will continue to do so, I am sure. Just because the sky is blue does not mean that you can't have difficult weather conditions to contend with. What a terrific day. Well, Sean, we've got some climbing to deal with tomorrow, but every day you just can't read it.
No, well, it's turning out to be an exciting race now, and that's what we need, because we had some days where it went dead a bit on some of the flat sprinter stages, but yesterday we had an exciting final. Today we had most of the stage, it was full racing, and they were at the fastest average all day, and tomorrow is a big day with 6 climbs on the route tomorrow, a stage of 152 kilometres, so a short stage but a really difficult one.
Cannot wait. Roglič, our leader. All hail the breakaway. Thanks to Sean Kelly, of course to Adam Blythe and Sherry Pridham who've been joining us today. Let's just have a look back at how this one finished. I have to say I was very worried for the breakaway in the end. My emotions swung one way and then the next. Never quite certain how this one would pan out. When Matthews reached out at this point, it certainly looked very good for him. Vlasov was on full chat. His rangy physique was pushing away. Enric Mas was still very much involved and still kept something back, as did superb drive by him. And I just got the feeling it looked like Roglič could have actually won that one. Had he done enough? Well, he'd done enough to get into red, but I don't think he had the heart, quite frankly, to deny Magnus Cort, who was still skipping away. Here's your last 150 metres. Now just watch Roglič here. Take nothing away from Magnus Cort's efforts today. Absolutely superb. And indeed the margin